Welcome back, it's Nine, and today we have another big PlayStation 5 video for you guys. We are going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla running better on the PS5 than the Xbox Series X. We're going to be talking about God of War Ragnarok, talking about the new PS5 firmware update and what it does, and lastly, the new addition to Sony Santa Monica, the team that's working on God of War and possibly some other games. Now, before we get into that, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, and hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton. Now, let's get started with Assassin's Creed Valhalla and how it's performing better on the PlayStation 5 over the Xbox Series X, despite it being advertised as optimized for the Xbox Series X. So this article originally comes from PSU.com, and it's titled Assassin's Creed Valhalla PS5 reportedly runs slightly better than the Xbox Series X version. So as you guys know, and I stated this before, it is optimized for the Xbox Series X allegedly, and that's how it's advertised. But according to NX Gamer over on YouTube, has found that the PS5 version boasts better load times than Microsoft's new machine. Both versions run at a 60 FPS with dynamic 4K resolution, so that's good news for everyone. But in terms of load times, Sony's platform sees a 12% difference. And we know this to be true. We're not surprised by this. Sony has the better SSD, and really speaking, 12% difference is not that big a deal. It's like 1 second in load time. So it's not like, oh my goodness, I'd rather play this on this other platform just for that 1 second. No, that's not how it goes. But I think the point stands that, you know, with it being advertised for Series X being the best place to play it, it turns out that that's not necessarily the case. So John Lindemann of Digital Foundry has also agreed that the PS5 version does outperform the Xbox Series X edition. So when he says that, he just means in general that it's outperforming the Xbox Series X edition, whether it be load times and many other categories as well. So there's no way that the Xbox Series X currently is outperforming the PS5 when it comes to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also said to be the same for Call of Duty Cold War, which is yet another game that's really showing that, you know, the PS5, you know, while it may not be better on paper in terms of teraflops and all that, it clearly doesn't translate to real world results because the PS5 is still doing better. And I wish I could find that tweet that I saw, and if I can find it, I'll throw it up on screen for you guys. You know, John Lindemann says in a DM to somebody that basically the reason for the PS5 games outperforming, the multiplat games outperforming the Xbox Series X is because of the developer tools. The tools are well refined on the PS5, whereas on the Xbox Series X, it almost feels like not half-baked, but they're really still working on it. So that would be the reason why allegedly we're seeing the difference between PS5 and Series X multiplats, where the PS5 is doing better. But again, guys, this is just one of those situations where, you know, not necessarily on paper results or on paper specs, you know, generates real world results. We see that a lot in the tech world, and this is just another case of that. You know, we all know that Mark Cerny is a very intelligent man, and apparently, you know, all his hard work with really creating the PS5 and making everything work with each other seamlessly, not having any bottlenecks, has truly shown, you know, its fruits of labor. Like, we know that it is performing in the way that they intend it to. So it's nice to see that, and also working around what developers wanted to see and making sure developers were happy with the results of the next-gen consoles. And we know that PS5 has got that in spades, which is great to see. And I guess now we're just starting to see the results as well from other people who are testing these different games. So exciting to see for PlayStation fans that, yeah, apparently that teraflop difference really didn't mean much. And, you know, it is what it is. On to our next topic. And this comes from pushsquare.com, and this is about God of War Ragnarok. PlayStation boss can't comment on God of War Ragnarok being a PS5 exclusive is the title of this article. So in an interview with The Telegraph, which covers Sony's next-gen console in general, Ryan is asked whether God of War Ragnarok will be a PS5 exclusive. Ryan replies with a rather non-committal, "Sorry, I've got nothing to say about that today." So there's many ways this can be spun. You know, one way could be that maybe it's not going to be a PS5 exclusive. Maybe it's going to be on PS4 as well, especially following, you know, the comments that they made about, given the pandemic and everything that's happening, maybe Sony is looking to bring along PS4 for a little while longer, and this could be one of those situations where they're going to bring PlayStation 4 along. Now, Is it possible that he just doesn't want to talk about it right now, and that's just something that they're not discussing? Absolutely. But with the game out as soon as it is, I don't think that they could make a last-minute change on something like this, given that it's basically supposed to be a PS5 game out in 2021. So if it was going to be on PS4, no matter what, it would already be made to be on the PS4, because we know that they are looking to take advantage of every single thing that they can with the PS5's tech. And obviously they can't do that completely, not 100%, if they are still on the PS4. So I think that, you know, if they turn around and they end up making this a cross-gen title, guys, this was a cross-gen title from the beginning. It wasn't a situation where they just decided to change it. I think that's the reality of the situation. So if it turns out to be a cross-gen title, you know, it was from the start. Otherwise, yeah, he could just not want to talk about it right now. They have moments of where they want to discuss certain games and what's happening with certain teams, and this could be one of those moments where they're just not looking to discuss that at this time. So yeah, it definitely could be taken in two different ways. I wouldn't say that for sure this confirms it's cross-gen, and I wouldn't say this doesn't confirm that it's cross-gen. Like, it's really still up in the air. As far as we know, it's a PS5 2021 title. Let's just leave it at that and wait for more information to come to light. In that same topic, though, of God of War Ragnarok and Sony Santa Monica, we are discussing an article that comes from pushsquare.com titled Games Journalist Alanah Pearce Joins Sony Santa Monica. So Alanah Pearce is an ex-IGN Games journalist, and she has joined Sony Santa Monica as a writer. So she posted this over on Twitter, and she said, "Hi everyone, I'm finally allowed to announce my new job as a video game writer at Sony Santa Monica, who you probably know as the studio who made God of War. I am so proud to be a part of this incredible team," and she's got a shirt with Sony Santa Monica on the front. So you guys might be very familiar with her, and she's somebody who worked at IGN, she worked at Rooster Teeth. She's very well ingrained in the games industry from a journalist standpoint, also from many other standpoints as well, and she's now joining Sony Santa Monica as a writer. I would like to point out that it's likely that she's not working on God of War Ragnarok, as that game's supposed to be out this year, so I would imagine, it's supposed to be out 2021, so I imagine that the work on that game in terms of story writing has to be done at this point. I would be shocked if they were still writing the story of God of War Ragnarok. So with that note, I think that this is probably for a future project. I doubt, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not God of War. Maybe she's joining up for a new IP, because I actually would love to see a new IP from Sony Santa Monica, you know, on the side with God of War going as well, because they could make multiple teams working on different games, and maybe that's where Alanah Pearce comes in to be writing for this new possible IP, or maybe the next God of War game. We don't know. But regardless, I imagine with her expertise in the games industry that she's going to be able to add a lot to Sony Santa Monica when it comes to story writing. So it's very exciting to see how that'll go, and I'm sure within the next 3-4 years, her work will be coming to light, and we'll see just what she has to offer. Very excited to see what she can bring to Sony Santa Monica and the possible games that they release. Now, on to our last topic. And this comes from pushsquare.com as well, titled PS5's first firmware update is available to download now. So guys, if you are familiar with what's going on with the PS5, it basically was having issues crashing, or it would, brick in some cases when you put it in rest mode, specifically with Spider-Man Miles Morales. So I pretty much just stopped putting it in rest mode completely, and now they've updated that. That update has come out, and this update improves system performance, and it's around 868 megabytes. And I've seen people talk about this on Twitter. Dreamcast Guy has confirmed that he's done a lot of testing and has found that that performance issue where it could brick your console is completely gone. So I would say it's probably okay to start putting the console back in rest mode. If you do have issues, or if you know of a problem still occurring, please let me know in the comments, and I'll relay that information to everybody else. Because yeah, you don't want your console breaking, especially not when it's brand new, and there's not an easy way for us to just go out and exchange these. So as you know, PlayStation 5 is a brand new console. It's going to have its bugs and hiccups, as it is, the first version of it available to us. So over time, it's going to get better. They're going to improve the firmware, and eventually we'll get to a point where it's pretty stable, and it's just going to be minor bug fixes that come along, but nothing major that's going to brick your console. So I'm going to pass this on to you guys. And number one, I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think of Assassin's Creed Valhalla running better on the PS5 than the Xbox Series X. What do you think of Boss Jim Ryan not confirming whether God of War will be a PS5 exclusive or a cross-gen game? How do you feel about Alanah Pearce joining Sony Santa Monica? Do you think she's going to have a lot to add to the studio when it comes to story writing? And lastly, are you excited for this new firmware update that's going to allow you to put your PS5 in rest mode comfortably? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, hit the like button, it helps the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter, link will be in the description, and share this video with a friend. I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care.